Hey, what is going on, my dudes? Welcome to the video, bringing you guys another solo versus squad, playing on PC, trying to go for those high kill games. But today I would do something different. I thought I would do something different aside from the typical gameplay and answer a question that I get asked a lot on my live streams. And that is, what is some advice that I have for smaller streamers, people who are trying to get discovered, trying to kind of, make it as a streamer. It doesn't really matter the platform, be it Twitch or YouTube. And basically, I get this a lot. People just want advice on how to develop a community and how to get into streaming. So I figured I would give a little bit of my advice. I know I'm not like the biggest streamer ever, but I do think I have some pretty decent advice. I've been streaming for 3 or 4 years now with a lot of success in the last year and a half, I think. But before, I was just kind of doing it during university, kind of farting around with the concept of streaming and doing it when I had some spare time. So I didn't really take it too seriously, but because I've been doing it for so long, I kind of have a good idea of what works and what doesn't work. So I've compiled a little bit of a list of what I personally do. Again, everybody's different. You might have different techniques that make you successful, and that's all good. But these are just some of my ideas on how to make a successful stream. So, number one, the most important thing, I think, and that's why I put it at the very start of the list, is to make a schedule. And when you're doing streaming casually, this is probably the biggest pain in the ass, is to have to mandate a schedule for yourself every single time you go live. But it's honestly very important. And the reason being is that it gives your audience a time when they know that they can click on Twitch or they can click on YouTube or Mixer or whatever platform they're going to be watching you on, and know that they can watch you at that time. That is a huge thing for potential viewers, and it's a huge thing in building your community so that you'll have the same faces that come back to every stream day after day. That is incredibly important to building a stream, is to have a regular community. It makes people feel like just a part of something bigger than themselves, and I think that's really important to try and develop as a streamer. Another thing I would say is that you should try and make a schedule if you're new to streaming, if you can do it. I mean, obviously, just having a strict schedule is possible. If you get home from work and you like to go live and develop your stream, that's awesome. But if you can have a early morning stream that you can hit consistently 4 or 5 days a week, that honestly can be huge for growth. That is when I got my big kick, is when I set an alarm for 7 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up every single morning at 7 and got live by 7:45 or 8 o'clock, and did that for 5 or 6 days a week. That's really when I noticed my numbers pop. And a lot of that's got to do with competition. And I'll get into this as well, just like picking the platform. But streaming is so competitive for viewership. Let's be real. A lot of people, pretty much anybody who plays video games a lot, would love to play video games for a living. It's a pretty, I guess, popular career, but few people really attain it. But a lot of people will be getting home from work and grinding their streams. But not a whole lot of people will be waking up before work or before class to grind streams. I mean, if you look at the times that a lot of the big streamers get on as well, they'll all be getting on, late morning. So if you can commit yourself to get on early in the morning, oftentimes there won't be necessarily as big of a total potential audience, because not everybody's awake, but there'll be people who are working night shift, and there'll be people on different schedules and different parts of the world. You'll get a lot of that European viewer base as well. You'll hit that if you get up early in the morning to stream, and I honestly think that can be incredibly beneficial for your initial growth. Small fact, Ninja would actually wake up at 3 in the morning sometimes to get his streams going on H1Z1, because he, at the time, was a small streamer and needed to get that growth going. So it's not like it's below you to stream early in the morning, and it definitely does work. And I just want to throw that out there. Obviously, that won't work for everybody. I know a lot of people, who want to get into streaming have jobs, and you 100% don't need to wake up super duper trooper early in the morning to make it as a streamer. But it definitely does not hurt in giving you a little bit of an advantage over the competition. The second thing I will do, or the second thing I will say, is to make sure you have a good microphone. That's often a mistake I see people make. Audio is easily the most important thing to have as a streamer. And by audio, I mean good audio. I would honestly prioritize that over a webcam easily. I see a lot of people pulling the trigger on a webcam. Some huge streamers don't even use a webcam, but they just have fantastic audio. I mean, you look at Dakota's. Dakota's pulls like 25,000 viewers, I believe, on Twitch, which is an insanely competitive platform. He only really just blew up on Fortnite. Like, that's really when his channel exploded. So he hasn't really been, a Twitch streamer for too long. And he has fantastic audio, and it really does show. And it really does. I think that is a component of watching Dakota streams. They're so freaking chill, dude. And I do think that's important to have in your stream, is to have a good mic and good audio and prioritize that over pretty much anything else, I mean, other things are important, but trust me, your audio is a huge component of having a successful stream. Another thing I'll say, and this one might be a little bit more controversial, it's not like 100%, but I think this is honestly a good thing psychologically for most streamers, is to hide your viewer count. Because a lot of people will put a lot of emphasis on their viewer count, especially when they're just getting into streaming and they're not kind of really used to how it all works. But your viewer count is so dependent on things that are totally out of your realm of control, If you're getting on and there's some great streamers on at the same time, and Ninja's on and TSM Myth are on, and they're all huge streamers, and you're trying to compete for that viewer base, like, you're going to have a hard time, and you're not necessarily going to pull in a whole lot of new viewers when those big streamers are on. Also, if there's another game launch, or even if just the notification system is down and the platform you stream on happens to have a lot of buffering or something that day, like, viewership can be lower. But that often, like 90% of the time for me, like, I could have some of the best days of my life playing Fortnite and have lower viewership than normal just because of the way the streams are that day, Like, I had a day where I think I went 19 wins in a row, and I had more viewers the next day on like a 4-loss streak, It's totally out of your realm of control, but if that can psych you out, if you can be kind of turned off by the fact that, hey, like, I only have 5 viewers today, and yesterday I had 20. Do I suck as a streamer now? What happened? But oftentimes it can be completely out of your hands and not anything to do with something you're doing wrong, So for that reason, even for big streamers, like, I'll often hide my viewer count. I normally average, 1,500 to 3,000 viewers, but like, oftentimes that will change through the day, So it's something where if you're paying attention to viewer count and you're really paying attention to it, and you're taking it in, like, you're taking it to heart, basically, how many people are watching the stream, it can really throw you off. And then what happens, it's kind of like a chain reaction. If you have a huge drop in viewers because maybe Ninja just logged on, or some big streamer, or something happened, or like YouTube or Twitch just dropped for like a few minutes, and then you lose 25% of your viewers. If you pay too much attention to that can actually affect your mood, and then because you're now a little bit deflated, your stream ends up a little bit deflated, and it ends up to be less enjoyable to watch because it's not quite as positive as it was. And now more people leave because they're not quite as getting the positive vibes from you. It's kind of like a chain reaction, and it's something you can easily avoid just by hiding the viewer count and focusing on the people who are there. Because that's the most important thing to do as a streamer, is to pay attention to your viewers and to welcome them. I will also say, one thing I really try to do, it's a little bit tricky to do as your chat gets more active, but try to welcome as many new faces as possible and try to call them out by username. Obviously, don't call out offensive usernames, but even hard to pronounce ones, man. Like, people will appreciate you trying to address them in the chat, and it's just a cool way for people to feel welcome the moment they get into your stream, and then to probably stick around and become part of your community. A couple more things I will say. Don't ever self-promote. I see this so much, especially on YouTube. I also see it on Twitch. But self-promotion's a really bad idea, right? Like, basically, you're coming into a streamer's chat and you're saying, hey, I'm more entertaining than you. Your viewers, come watch me. For one, it never, ever works. It literally never works, man. I've never I've never left a stream to go watch another stream. Oftentimes, if people do, it's to go and leave hate comments on your stream, which is not something you want. Don't do it. It's a really, really bad way to grow as a streamer. And I say this, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, but because it's so popular, I feel like people see others self-promoting in other people's stream. Oftentimes, probably younger viewers, and then they go to start their own stream, and because they've seen other people self-promoting so much, they just assume it's a behavior that they have to do in order to grow. You know, it's like, even though it actually has no positive result, it never actually results in increased viewership or a better audience by self-promoting. I think because people see others doing it, they just assume that it's something that they need to do, and it is not. It's the exact opposite of what you need to do, because you know, like, as a streamer, I often will, you know, swear off somebody who self-promotes, you know, like, if I see them with 10 viewers, I don't think I'll ever reach out to them for a raid, you know, because they've come into my chat and they've been like, hey, man, follow my stream. I got a 1KD. It's lit. Blah. You know, like, I'm never going to go raid them. I'm not going to show support to them. I'm going to look for somebody who has been just purely grinding and working on their craft on their own accord, you know, without trying to self-promote their way to success. It never works, man. So don't do it. One last quick little point here is the games you play. That can often have an effect on your viewership and the growth of your channel. The most important thing you should do is to play the games that you enjoy playing. But you can also consider checking out smaller games as well. Games like Fortnite right now are huge, and it's really, really difficult to grow because there are so many big names. But that being said, if you're incredibly skilled at Fortnite, man, 100% get into streaming it, because there's always people looking to pick up new communities of really highly skilled players to watch. But know that, like, I got my start, my first few viewers streaming Star Wars Battlefront. And that game had a very, very low viewership when I used to stream on Twitch. But because it did have a dedicated community, I was actually able to grow with that and get some viewership, because the people who wanted to watch Battlefront were pretty dedicated to watching Battlefront. And they were there, you know, day after day to watch the stream. But, yeah, guys, I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this 22-kill game. I was a little bit of a ramble here with this video. But I hope I gave some tips that helped you guys out with working on your own streams. Honestly, the most important thing you can do is have fun with it, because streaming is hella fun, man. I love doing it. It's a gift to be able to do this daily. So thank you guys very much for all the support and making that a reality for me. And best of luck in growing your own streams. Cheers, guys. Appreciate you. And I'll catch you guys in the next live stream.